The Kenton County Public Library, in conjunction with the Library of Congress Veterans Oral History Project, is seeking veterans of all branches for oral histories of their military service. Interviews will be recorded and digitally preserved on the library's website. Here are a few samples of local veterans sharing their stories.
But we didn't have like they've got now, where they've got computer contact and telephone contact. If we wanted telephone contact, I went over in, I was only married 3 days when I went over there for a year. I spent a year there.
Okay, so you had 12 months for your...
The first time.
The first time.
And we pulled into Hong Kong for R&R.
Rest and relaxation.
Yeah. And I called home. But the phone call was like $55 for the first 3 minutes. And I think it totaled about, my dad about crapped. It was about $300 for a phone call. He told me keep writing. One of the coolest things I ever saw when I was in it, our ship would go probably 28 knots, a little over 30 miles an hour. Just pretty impressive.
Yeah, for a ship that big, that's
Yeah.
fast.
And we pulled up one day to the Enterprise. It was over there. And we sent over pallets to it. Well, it's huge to start off with. And it's about 10 times bigger than ours. And when they break cable, when they separate finally after we're all done, they broke cable. And our ship, our captain kicked ours down, and they kicked the Enterprise down. And the Enterprise left us sitting like we weren't even around.
Really?
But it would go, I heard it would go up to 50 knots.
24th Light Truck Company was composed of about 60 2.5-ton trucks. We had a motor pool there, and I was one of 3 officers that had responsibility for about 20 trucks each. Okay. And of course there was a captain there that was in charge of the 24th Light Truck Group.
And what were your daily duties from day one?
Daily duties changed. The primary mission of the 24th Light Truck was port and beach clearance and combat support. There was a deep water port about 20 miles from Tuliwa where they brought in a lot of ship with supplies, primarily bombs that were used by the Air Force there at Tuliwa. But then there was also a lot of building materials, because at that point the Army was building roads and building facilities, not only for the troops that were there, but trying to help the local communities.
And so then you would drive the trucks to the port?
Yeah, we basically ran 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We ran port and beach clearance. We ran during the daytime without too many problems, but we also ran through the night. When I mentioned learning how to drive under blackout conditions, we would run 20 to 30 trucks at a time through the mountains to get to the port bays, and had usually some type of MP support or a armored support to protect our unit as we were going up and down what was then the Highway 1.
Okay, I've heard of Highway 1.
Yeah, Highway 1 is sort of a misnomer. It was sometimes blacktop, but most of the time it was gravel.
To share your military experience and preserve it in history, call 859-962-4070. Email history@kentonlibrary.org or visit the local History and Genealogy Department at the Covington branch at 502 Scott Boulevard. Thank you for your service. Library Executive Director Dave Schroeder is also an accomplished historian. The following are a few of his excerpts from the Ludlow Lagoon History Project and the 150th anniversary of the Roebling Bridge.
There were a number of reasons that really brought the lagoon to an end. The motorcycle race, of course, was one. There were many lawsuits that resulted from the accident. 1913 was also marred by a major flood in the greater Cincinnati area that did quite a bit of damage to the lagoon, destroyed much of the midway, and did damage to quite a few of the rides. In 1915, a major tornado swept through Boone County and into Kenton County. It went right through the middle of the Lagoon Amusement Park. And again, significant damage was done to the park. That, on top of the 1913 flood damage, resulted in some very expensive repairs that had to be done on the property.
A centerpiece of the city of Cincinnati, the John A. Roebling Suspension Bridge has stood for more than 150 years, linking the communities of Covington, Kentucky and Cincinnati, Ohio. With a main span of 1,057 feet, the Covington-Cincinnati Suspension Bridge was the longest suspension bridge in the world when it opened to pedestrians on December 1st, 1866. Like many grand challenges, the bridge wasn't easy to construct.
In the early 1800s, there was really no link between northern Kentucky and Cincinnati beyond the ferries that connected the two regions. And so there was the Kennedy Ferry that was located close to the point where the Licking River and the Ohio connect. But primarily, getting back and forth between Cincinnati and northern Kentucky was difficult. And so as early as the 1820s, there were talk about building a bridge. Amos Schinkel was really one of the leaders in developing the suspension bridge here in Greater Cincinnati. He really identified the need to connect the two areas. He saw a great impact on the economy. His work as a 30-year-old and a 40-year-old in northern Kentucky was to raise funds and to get people to invest in the Cincinnati Covington Bridge Company.
A private company called the Covington-Cincinnati Bridge Company operated the bridge until the state of Kentucky purchased it in 1953 for $4.2 million. The state collected tolls until the early 1960s, when the Brent Spence Bridge was opened less than a mile to the west of the Roebling Suspension Bridge. Declared a National Historic Landmark in 1983, the Roebling Bridge has been an entrenched symbol for multitudes of art, corporate business, media, and the community as a whole. It is the centerpiece of a city and region that has grown around it as it stood the test of time. The bridge displays a heritage that will be accessible to generations for years to come and provide older generations with a trip back to simpler times and years gone by. Even today, 150 years after it was built, the communities of Cincinnati and northern Kentucky utilize the bridge for travel, leisure, exercise, and business, all while enjoying its beauty and history. Preserved and enhanced by the Covington-Cincinnati Suspension Bridge Committee, the Roebling Bridge continues to be a remarkable source of pride and enjoyment. It is accessible to all ages and generations and will stand as a centerpiece of our community for years to come. To learn more about the Roebling Bridge, the rich history of our region, and get help on your history project and research, visit the local history department at the Covington branch or call 859-962-4070. For more information and to view images and bonus footage, visit www.kentonlibrary.org/history.
The historical database GenKey, available at www.kentonlibrary.org/GENKY, provides veterans with a variety of different sources of military history. Fascinating records from the War of 1812, Mexican and Indian Wars, the Civil War, World War I and World War II, along with first-hand accounts from Kentucky veterans, are all available for easy searching. With a Kenton County Public Library card, you can also access online military resources and browse by location, war, name, and battalion and company outfit. For more information, visit www.kentonlibrary.org or call 859-962-4070.